So on these Wednesday mornings, what we do, so the recipe we follow is that first we learn from someone else, someone wiser than us, hopefully, or someone called an expert. Expert doesn't necessarily, they're not necessarily right all the time, and that's important to remember. We can still learn from them. They can be wrong, they can make mistakes, or they will. Sometimes they are wrong, sometimes they make mistakes. But I'm thinking that we can still listen to them and then take what we like and leave the rest. Remembering that I make the choice what I think is right in the end. So after we have listened to wisdom from I call it wisdom from others, then we do a physical practice. The physical practice is a way to bring the mind into the body, because the mind can go all over. It can go to the past, to the future. It can go to France, to Florida, to the US, but the body is always in the present moment. So the physical practice helps us to bring the mind into the body. And then we end with the meditation, or I read this again, and then we end with the seated meditation. And the physical practice is just to prepare the body and the mind to align. So that's the goal, or the practice we do on these Wednesday mornings. Okay, so starting with Dalai Lama. So this is what he has to say today. And of course, this is a translation into English, but that's the best we have right now. When our attitude towards our material possessions and wealth is not proper, it can lead to an extreme attachment towards such things as our property, houses, and belongings. This can lead to an inability to feel contented. If that happens, then one will always remain in a state of dissatisfaction, always wanting more. In a way, one is then really poor, because the suffering of poverty is the suffering of wanting something and feeling the lack of it. Okay, so with that in mind, we're going to continue with the physical practice. What did I hear from Dalai Lama? I heard contentment. So being content, and that suffering is always wanting more, and the suffering is feeling the dissatisfaction of not having enough. And what I heard, so the better place to be would be to feel content. Feel content. Okay, so finding your seat, sitting up tall. And then if you want to bring your awareness to your feet, lifting the heels, lifting the toes, and that helps us to bring the mind into the body. Maybe even look at your feet, see that they are there. Wiggle your toes. Notice the connection between the soles of the feet and the earth. And then maybe bring your awareness to your sitting bones. Feel those two steady, sturdy, stable bones that hold you up. You can even lean towards one side and then the other to feel the left sitting bone and then the right sitting bone. And then finding balance with equal weight on both sitting bones. Then if you want to, you can use your fingers and tap at the crown of the head. Finding the crown of the head, and then maybe push the crown of the head in towards your fingers. Notice how the soles of the feet are still connected to earth. Maybe the soles of the feet are pushing into the earth and the crown of the head is pushing up. So your body is moving in two directions, connecting to earth and connecting to the universe. Maybe imagine that when you were a baby, you had a little opening up there. Maybe use your fingers to open up that opening again. And that is gonna make it easier to connect to the universe. Maybe imagine how you're dropping down to your third eye, looking for contentment. What does contentment look like to you? Does it have a color? Does it have a shape? Maybe a smell? What does contentment look like to you? And then if you want to, you can place one hand on your belly and the other one on your chest. And then maybe notice how your lower hand, the hand on the belly, how that hand is moving with your breath. So on the inhale, the belly is expanding. And on the exhale, the navel moves closer to your spine. And then release. And then if you want, you can place your hands on your knees and then start the cat-cow movement. Maybe notice what kind of breathing you're using. So when do you inhale and when do you exhale? And then maybe imagine how the physical body and the breath body works together. And then finding neutral, coming back to contentment, balance, contentment. Adding in blinking, bubbling stars. Maybe think about, what does blinking, bubbling, content stars look like? I don't know. What do they look like? Clasp the hands, turn them over, and then straighten your elbows. Straighten those elbows. Let the palms of the hands face the universe or the sky. Breathe. And then maybe a little bit of side bending. And then reach, and notice how the sides of the body are waking up. Maybe you feel the skin stretching. Maybe you can imagine how the lungs are stretching. You can feel the rib cage, and the rib cage is protecting the lung. The rib cage is a flexible yet protective rib cage that protects what's most valuable, the lungs and the heart. And then reach up, turn to one side, bring the arms out wide, look behind you, breathe. Thinking back, what made you feel content in the past? What made you feel content in the past? And then release, maybe lift the shoulders a few times. And then look at those blinking, bubbling, content stars. What do they look like? What do blinking, bubbling, content stars look like? Bring the hands up, clasp the hands, turn them over, straighten the elbows, breathe. And then reach and reach and reach. So what you are reaching for, is that going to bring contentment or suffering? Just one more cookie or one more car or one more pickleball lesson. I don't know. What is it? Is it going to bring you contentment or suffering? And then turn to the other side. Let the arms go wide. Look behind you. And then maybe think about, what brought suffering in the past? What can you learn from the past? What brought suffering, and how can you avoid that in the future? And then release, lift the shoulders a few times. Okay, now look at your fingers. Look at your fingers, and then find the color of contentment. Notice how it feels. It's like the paint, and you put your hands there, and you make sure you have all the fingers covered with the paint of contentment. And then we do 3, 2, 1, and then you can do whatever you want, just painting your world with contentment. What does contentment look like? And then release. And maybe play with suffering on this side. So maybe, what does the color of suffering look like, or dissatisfaction? And then put the fingers in the color of suffering or dissatisfaction, always wanting more. And then draw 3, circle 3, 2, 1. And then fill that world with suffering and dissatisfaction. What does that look like? And then release. And then bringing arms up in cactus, and or like maybe accepting that we do travel in between contentment and suffering, having enough or always wanting more. So sometimes I'm in the suffering mode, and sometimes I'm in the content mode. It starts with awareness. When do I feel content, and when do I feel that I always want more? Always want more. One more daffodil. One more dog. One more Zoom class. When is it enough? Which river do I want to swim in the river of contentment or the river of suffering? And we're all going to make different choices. And what works for me might not work for someone else. And then sometimes we swim backwards. We're thinking that we're moving forward, and then we realize, oh my goodness, I've been swimming backwards for 1 year now. All right, whatever, release and start again. And then let the knee and the elbow connect. Knee and elbow connect. So knees and elbows are very similar joints, but yet they are different, just like people. So people are similar, yet different. So who would you like to connect with? Who would you like to connect with? And then maybe cross the midline, so opposite elbow and opposite knee. Sometimes it takes courage to cross that midline. What line is it that you would like to cross? Okay, and then we're going to do a balancing. So holding the knee and the elbow together. And maybe even bring up the other knee and the other elbow, and breathe. And release. Okay, some more blinking, bubbling stars all the way up. Clasp the hands, turn them over, reach up. Now maybe think about a bird, a big bird flying in the sky, super content. Release the feathers or the wings out wide, and here you are flying around in the sky like this content bird. What kind of bird are you? And then bring the palms up. You're going up, and then maybe you're diving down. And then inhale and fly all the way up again. And then exhale and dive down. Inhale, fly up. And this time, exhale, dive down, and then bring your wings behind your back. Hold on to opposite arms. And then stay there. Stay there. There's no rush. No rush. You can keep your eyes open or closed. Maybe find a place of tightness. Maybe find a place of tightness. Maybe tightness is wanting more. So play with the idea that tightness is wanting more or suffering. So how can you release that suffering and replace the suffering with contentment? So maybe use the breath as healing warm water, rinsing the suffering away, replacing it with contentment. And then release the arms, shake it out, bring one hand up, place it behind your heart, and then the other one on top of that hand, supporting your own heart. How can you support your own heart? And then release them. Okay, now so bring your feet a little wider than your hips, so you're creating that triangle, a stable triangle. Maybe even bring the feet outside the yoga mat if you're using a yoga mat. And then starting to go from side to side, accepting that sometimes we are content and sometimes we are suffering. So it's a process, we are learning. And the first step is awareness. When am I content and when do I feel suffering? There's nothing wrong with having the need to eat to survive, but how many cookies do I actually need? Do I need them or do I want them? Is it a need or is it a want? And then starting to move in a circle. Um, it's a process. So we go around the circle and we play with the extremes. And we go from side to side. And when we learned one lesson, there's always a new lesson to learn. To me, it seems like it never ends. And so we better enjoy the journey. At the end of the journey, we get to go on vacation. It's called Shavasana, or and so then that we get to leave the earth for a while, go up to the universe, we get to go on vacation, and then eventually they're going to send us back down, and we have to do all these lessons again. And then finding your way back to contentment, bring the feet together, finding mountain posture. What would a content mountain look like? What would a content mountain look like? And then lifting that right knee up, creating big circles, opening up that hip joint, releasing some of the memories and the stories that we have there. Maybe go the other way. And then stepping out wide, knees to elbows, fingertips together. Lengthen the spine. The pit of the belly goes in and up, in and up. Maybe look at the floor. What do you see? Do you see green grass with flowers? Do you see water? Do you see a floor? And then release down. Let the head be heavy. Inhale, come back up. And then bring that foot on top of the knee. Use your fingers to open up the toes. Open up the toes. Seated pigeon. Content seated pigeon. And then slide the knees together. Right leg is up, then right arm goes under. Give yourself a hug. I love myself so much. And then from here, find eagle arms. So eagle arms could be this, or it could be this, or it could be all around. You can, if you want, you can take that right foot behind your calf. Finding eagle, seated eagle. Maybe imagining that eagle. And then when you're ready, if you're ready, let that eagle fly. Open up the wings, let it fly, let it fly, let it fly. And then the bird is going to land on top of the next mountain, and then we start again. Never ends. I don't know, but maybe. It's a circle, it's a journey, constant journey. And then go the other way. Stepping out wide, fingertips together, knees to elbows, lengthen the spine. Breathe. And then if you want to, you can release the left hand down in front of your face. The right hand goes to the right knee. And by pushing in, lengthen the spine. And by pushing into both hands and looking up, you can create a little bit of a twisting motion. And then release down, drop the head. Come back to neutral, elbows to knees, fingertips together, lengthen the spine. Preparing for the other side. And then release the right hand down on the floor, left hand on your left knee, and then push into both hands, look up towards the sky, creating a twisting motion in the body. And then release down, let the head be heavy. Inhale, come back up. And then bring the left foot to the knee. Use your finger to open up the toes, open up the toes. Seated pigeon. So maybe we start like a seated pigeon. And then eventually, as we learn, maybe we grow into an eagle. Left leg is on top, left arm goes under. Give yourself a hug. And then adding the wings. So what kind of eagle are you? What kind of eagle are you? And then when you're ready, if you're ready, let that eagle fly. Let that eagle fly and land back on the next mountain top. And then we start over. Okay, so let's build some strength in the legs. So bring the heels a little closer to your chair, and then transfer the weight forward and up. Pick a number, and then 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then come back and rest, shake it out, and do it one more time. Okay, bring the heels closer to your chair, Transfer the weight forward and up, and then pick a number. I'll pick the same, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Shake it out. Okay, now transfer the weight forward and come up to standing, and this time we're going to stay up there. Okay, blinking, bubbling stars, content, blinking, bubbling stars, all the way up. Clasp the hands, turn them over, straighten those elbows. And then side bend. So how does a content, blinking, bubbling star move? And then reach and reach and reach. And or what you're reaching for, is that going to bring you contentment or suffering? You make choices. And then let the arms go. Just let the arms go from side to side. Maybe bend the knees. Maybe let the arms go this way or that way. Maybe you want to dance around. Maybe you want to leave the mat. You don't have to stay on the mat. A child would never stay on the mat. And then eventually knee to elbow, knee to elbow, knee connecting to elbow. So who would you like to connect with? Who would you like to connect with? And maybe you're super brave and you're going to cross the midline and connect with someone on the other side. What is the other side for you? And then placing your hands on your hips, and then wake up the front of the legs and the back of the legs. Sometimes all we need is a kick in the butt. You've been thinking about doing it for a long time, and now you're just going to do it. You're just going to do it. And then lifting the leg out to the side, waking up the outer hip. And then lean and lift, lean and lift. Breathe. This is a balancing posture, it's stressful for the body. So by lengthening the inhale and the exhale, we turn on the parasympathetic nervous system, pretty cool. Lean and lift to the other side. And we bring down the stress level. And release. Okay, open up the fingers. Now, we're going to push suffering away, or dissatisfaction, or the need to always wanting more. So we're going to push that wanting more away. Push it away, push it away, push it away, push it away. Maybe imagine the color and push it away, push it away, push it away. And maybe you need to kick it away, Really to keep it away. Keep it away, keep it away, keep it away. And then eventually it's going to be gone. It's going to be gone. And I can release my hands, and contentment is going to fill that space. So feel contentment filling the space. That's worth a celebration. So let's celebrate with 3 sound salutations. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Slight bend in the knee. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale, down the midline. That was 1. 2 more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, inhale all the way up. Exhale down the midline. That was 2. Last one. Inhale, arms up. Exhale up and over. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees a little bit. Inhale all the way up. Exhale down the midline. And then hold your hands in Anjali Mudra and hold your own heart in between your hands with love and compassion. And then release. Okay. Big toes to tops, heels slightly apart, mountain posture. Steady, sturdy, stable mountain. Inhale to chair posture, exhale to Anjali Mudra. Transfer the weight to the left, right heel comes off the floor. Take a big step back, find the earth behind you with the toes and then the heel. Building warrior one from the earth up. We build all the postures from the earth up. First the foundation. Add some blinking, bubbling stars. Place your hands in your back pockets. Bring the elbows together. Bring your awareness to your heart. How does a content heart feel? Transfer the weight forward. Pick up that back foot. Pick up the opposite hand. Maybe reach and connect. Maybe reach and connect. Maybe take the bind, creating a circle. Release the feet back together, bend the knees and come back up to standing. Inhale to chair. Exhale to Anjali Mudra. Transfer the weight to the right, left heel comes off. Take a big step back, find the earth behind you with the toes and then the heel. Add some blinking, bubbling stars. Place your hands in your back pockets. Let the heart lead, and then pick up that back foot, lift the opposite hand. Reach and connect, reach and connect, reach, connect. Maybe take the bind. Release the feet back together, bend the knees and come back up to standing. All right, inhale to chair, exhale to Anjali Mudra. Transfer the weight to the left, right heel comes off. Take a big step back. This time, open up the pelvic half, finding warrior 2. Flip the front hand, reverse the warrior. What did contentment look like in the past for you? And then bring that wisdom with you into the future. And how can you plan better for the future? A more content future. And then finding your way back to the present moment. What is a first step that you could do or take today? Hands on your hips, straighten that front knee, release the hand down, maybe hold on to the chair, Trikonasana. Slowly bring your gaze from the floor to the wall, up towards the sky, if that's helpful to you. If you want to, you can bring that top arm up towards the sky. Bring the hand down, bring the gaze back down, rebend the front knee, and find warrior two again. Bring the hands to the chair, pick up that back foot. Look at the toe. Look at those toes. Maybe take the same hand off the chair. Balancing posture, half moon posture. Bring the hand down, bring the gaze down, feet together, bend the knees and come back up to standing. Inhale to chair, exhale to Anjali Mudra. Transfer the weight to the right, left heel comes off. Take a big step back, open up the pelvic halves. Finding warrior two. Flip the front hand, reverse the warrior. What did suffering look like in the past? And with that knowledge, how can you prepare better for the future? Finding your way back to warrior two. What is a baby step that you could take today? Hands on your hips, straighten that front knee, release the hand down for Trikonasana. With your gaze, let your gaze go from the floor to the wall, up towards the sky, if that's helpful to you. Maybe add that arm up. Bring the hand down, bring the gaze down, rebend the front knee, finding warrior two again. Place the hands on the chair, pick up that back foot. Look at your toes. Maybe take the same hand off the chair. Maybe take the same hand off the chair. Bring the hand down, bring the gaze down, feet together. Bend the knees and come back up to standing. Okay, tree posture. Starting in mountain posture. So maybe imagine the top of the mountain. So here you are at the top of the mountain. There's a little seed there, and then that grows into a tree. Transfer the weight to the left, right heel comes off. This might be your tree posture today. Or maybe you want to take that foot off the floor. Maybe you want to grow into a traditional tree posture. Ooh. Or maybe you want to create some new different branches. Or maybe your tree looks very different. Or maybe you don't like trees. You want to be a dancer. You want to be a dancer on top of that mountain. And then eventually releasing back down to mountain posture, landing back on mountain. And then transfer the weight to the right, left heel comes off. Try a different kind of tree. This time, maybe you're bringing the knee out to the side. Maybe you're picking up the toes just a little moment, like an inch off the floor. Or maybe you don't want to be a tree. You want to be a pigeon, a standing pigeon on top of the mountain. Or maybe you want to place your hands on the mountain. And then eventually finding your way back to the top of the mountain. Okay, now bring the feet a little bit wider than your knees, wider than your hips. Hands on the that's on the chair, and then release the knees down. Blinking, bubbling stars all the way up. And then place your hands in your back pockets. Bring the elbows together. Bring awareness to your heart space. What does a content heart feel like? What color is it? Does it have a shape or smell? Content heart. I am content. And then if you want to, you can look at your right heel. Maybe look at your right heel. Maybe you want your fingers to connect to that heel. And then bring the hand back. And this time, look to your left, look at your left heel. And then maybe let your fingers connect with the left heel. And then come back. And then release the toes. Bring the knee wider, big toes to touch, finding a child's posture. What does a content child look like? And then inhale and come back up. Now create that stable triangle. Clasp the hands and create that stable triangle on the chair. Stay here for a moment. Tuck the toes. Now lean into your support on the chair. Make sure it's solid. And then when you feel that it's solid, try it and lift the knees off just for a moment. And then bring it back down. One more time. Lean into your support on the chair. Bring the knees up just for a few moments. And release back down. And this time we're going to go all the way up. So lean into your support. Lift the knees off. And then walk your feet closer to the chair. Stay there. Dolphin posture. Then bend the knees, and slowly come back up to standing. And release. All right. So now we're gonna come back to wisdom from others, and today we're learning from Dalai Lama. So I'm just going to read the same paragraph again. When our attitude towards our material possessions and wealth is not proper, it can lead to an extreme attachment towards such things as our property, houses, and belongings. This can lead to an inability to feel contented. If that happens, then one will always remain in a state of dissatisfaction, always wanting more. In a way, one is then really poor, because the suffering of poverty is the suffering of wanting something and feeling the lack of it. Okay, so with that in mind, we could, if you want to, you can in meditation, you can reflect over the wisdom from Dalai Lama and see what comes up for you. So sitting up tall, bring your awareness to your breathing. And then we're going to be meditating for about 8 minutes. So I'm going to be quiet for now, and then I'll play the ball in like 8 minutes. So here we go. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, move your head from side to side. Take a deep breath in, let it go. If you want to, you can bring your hands up in Anjali Mudra, holding your own heart in between your hands with love and compassion. I am content. Maybe bow your head in gratitude for this practice, thousands of years old. Open your eyes, raise your gaze, and thank you so much for practicing together this morning. Namaste.